Yeah, welcome everyone. See a lot of familiar faces and a few new ones. So everyone, welcome. I just take some time to settle in and connect with everyone. And I also invite you to be here not only with your head, not only with your intellect, but as a human being with feelings. So how do you feel? How is the weather? The inner weather? And for me, whenever I drop into a new situation like now, beginning of a new course, many people, some I don't know, some I know just from other Zoom meetings, then I feel some nervousness. And it's wonderful. Feel that aliveness. And it connects me with all of you. Because I know you know exactly how I feel. You know this feeling. Huh? Oh, and there we are, there we can connect. Common ground, common humanity. And that suddenly strangers become fellow human beings. So whatever you touch within yourself with kindness, allowing everything what you bring with you into this moment. In that moment you touch every one of us because we are not separate. if you don't know me, you might think sometimes my microphone is not working. But, yeah, but for me, important is to create spaces where we can feel. Because in the exploration of emptiness or emptiness, fullness, emptiness as fullness, we are also going to use our intellect, but more important is the experience of the present moment, this kindness. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to explore with you together. Initially, really focusing on the non-existence of a unified, separate I. The non-existing of a separate, solid me. And that is something which is not difficult intellectually to grasp, but it is also not that far away or not so difficult to have experiences of the relief when you, in your inner life, when you find that there is no me, no I, which you need to protect. My wish for this teachings in this year is that all of us, we get a taste of putting down that burden of me. What about me? What about me? Me and myself, me and mine. So I imagine that all of us, we have different insights already into no self. Particularly if you have received Buddhist teachings before, then this is not something new for you. But I think we all can grow into a more profound and a deeper relief of this unnecessary burden. So it could be in this year, no matter what practices you else do, and that's wonderful, could be a bit of a focus. And the book was mentioned, and I will refer to that book sometimes. but I want to also draw on other resources. So it will be different than the 37 practices where we actually went through the text and we read together to the text. In fact, you not necessarily need to read the book. I will jump around in the book. So I'm not going from page to page, but I will pick different quotes from the book, different reflections, and there's also some meditations in the book. So we are going to use that. I also thought it would be maybe a good idea that I start a Facebook group where the participants can join, where we could discuss a bit, and where I then also could share some of the guided meditations and resources I'm using. So I think I'm going to do that. And then you will get an invitation to that group. It will be a closed group, a hidden closed group. And if you have understanding, you have received teachings on emptiness, on no self, from the different traditions, from the different Buddhist traditions or from other traditions, I'm sure that throughout this year you can deepen your experience. So I hope my wish, my prayer is that at the end of the year, we will have a group awakening. And today I want to mainly talk a bit about conditions and different aspects which support the experience of no self. For that, we will sit quietly a while. I will guide you a little. So if you take your seat, make yourself comfortable. If it's uncomfortable for you to sit, then you're of course welcome to lie down. And maybe your eyes want to close at one point. If you sit with open eyes, then you let your gaze very relaxed. And you allow a shift to happen. From the head into the body. Your awareness or your attention slides down into your body. You shift from doing into present moment awareness. Even down into your feet. And your breath is an ally in this shift, into this sliding. And with the in-breath, sliding or falling, dropping into the felt sense of your body. And maybe you allow yourself to breathe a little deeper. And then with the out breath, there can be a bit of like sighting, like putting down a burden, softening. You know, this sighting which might happen when you come back from work and you sit on your couch. How is your belly? Your shoulders? And don't even think about that we're meditating. So we don't need to call this meditating. Just being who you are, just being here with us. Welcoming the guests in the guest house of the body. So if you experience some tension or some discomfort, some tiredness, the invitation here is to explore if you don't do anything with it. Just being aware, just breathing with everything. Thoughts continue to arise, that's fine. But you have the possibility now not to emphasize them so much, not to listen so much to the radio station of the narrative self. Instead, you feel the aliveness in your body. You feel your presence. Softening and opening. Letting be. There can be a bit of centering with the breath. It's a kind of anchor. but without any effort, just lightly. There's nothing you need to do. You can't do this wrong or right. Sliding deeper into your inner life. And only if you notice that you're very much entangled in the inner dialogue, in the inner images, you shift back a bit into your hands, into your belly, into your breath. Very easygoing. And returning. Allow yourself to find a place of rest in the midst of your experience without changing anything. Then I invite you even more consciously to step into the sacred space of our meeting. If you are a visual person, you can imagine that you open a door to a sacred space, to a temple, to a gompa. And in that sacred space, we are together as a Sangha. Nothing is excluded. Nobody is excluded. So you are completely welcome in the sacred space of compassion. As you are, 100%. And in that sacred space, our shared sacred space, we invite our mentors, teachers, masters, maybe that could be His Holiness the Dalai Lama or the Buddha or Lama Zopa Rinpoche. But important here that it is personal, something which for you symbolizes what you would like to become. Tara, Jesus, symbols of unconditional love. surrounding you like angels. If you have personal connections with a teacher, you can hear his voice or her voice, and you relax into the loving gaze. Feel how it is when the Dalai Lama steps into the room, or Jesus, or Tara. And appreciate that we are doing this together. We are calling upon the light together. And you feel that light, that love in your whole body, as if you're sitting in the morning sun, bathing in the morning sun with your whole body, from the toes to the top of your head. Also in the back. And you call upon the light for all of us. Whatever arises within you, sensations, thoughts, your feelings, the mood you are in today, all that is being received. Being warmed by the light. You can let go now. Just receiving. Experience how it is to be seen completely with pure love, just love, only love, unconditioned love. And any tension you feel, any discomfort, just hold into that light. You hold into that space. You put it into the lap of Tara. You give it into the hands of Jesus. Knowing that Tara, Jesus, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the Buddha, are symbols for the light within. So we are actually calling upon the light within. I call on the light within. I call on the light within. The nature. I call on the light within. And rest. Feel how from this sacred space where we are together, the light shines out into the flat where you are. To the people you live with, to your friends, to your neighbors. And then you take your time to slide out, maybe by starting to move your body and open your eyes. But without a sense that now the meditation is finished and something else starts. We are still here. In the sacred space of compassion. And you are there in your flat. You are in a sacred space. And stay connected with the felt sense of your body, with your feelings. The direct experience of emptiness, fullness, has little to do with conceptual understanding. Your heart already knows emptiness. So if you have a question, you can write in the chat or also just raise your hand. I will also give some time at the end. And yeah, as I said, I would like to start with talking a bit what kind of conditions support us. So one emphasis in the Geluk tradition regarding this exploration is the emphasis on a conceptual understanding. And I honor that, and it's useful. But often what might happen is that we spend years and years of trying to do this conceptually and study and reading the books, and we get a sense that it is very complex, that we maybe even need to learn Tibetan and so on, and do 7 years of study, Madhyamika study, and stuff like that. And there's little emphasis on experience. And obviously there is like different levels of subtleties. But the first experiential understanding of no self, the experience of no self, that is something which is really in reach for all of you. I swear, I swear, I swear, I swear. So if you have already read many books around emptiness and you have a sense, oh, I don't get it, I don't understand it, I need to study more. Yes, we can always deepen, but this first initially very simple recognition, there is no I, there is no self. Not because you have debated it for years and with books, but you just look and see. And that's what I would like to help you with, to look and see. Not to look into books, what they know, how you can spend the rest of your life to read just the English commentaries in the tradition of Lama Tsongkhapa around emptiness, and nothing happens. So I would go for a bit simplified and not complete, but liberating and life-transforming insight into no self. And that's not the end. It's not enlightenment at all. Yeah. It is what is called on the Theravada path, it's called stream entry. It's a bit heretical what I say here, but I do it anyway. Because life is short and who knows how long time you have. And the insight that there is actually no I, no unified, solid, separate I. So in the beginning of our exploration, in the Mahayana tradition, you talk about twofold emptiness, the emptiness of phenomena and the emptiness of I. I want to really just look first at the I. So we leave the world untouched for now, the outside world. The outside world also doesn't exist in the way it appears. But for many people, that's first very, very, very challenging, very, very terrifying. Yeah? So we will not touch that, not yet. And we will just look into the hallucination of a unified, separate I, something extra within your body-mind, something we imagine. I know initially it is a bit difficult to really get how liberating that is. That actually the reason why you struggle in life, why you want things to be different, why you take everything so personal, my problems, my feelings, my thoughts, my iPhone, to see the cause for that, the root cause for that is an imagined I. If there's no imagined I, if you don't do this, if this process of selfing, I call it selfing, the process of selfing is looked through, there will be still feelings, there will be still the conditioned mind, there will be still anger and sadness and so on. But there will be nobody who is in charge. There will be no one having these difficult feelings. So study is important, in particular for those people who love it. If you love these philosophical explorations, then you are in a very good place in the Geluk tradition. You can be busy for the rest of your life. Yeah? And an intellectual understanding in itself brings some relief. Yeah? It brings some relief. And we will go there as well. But I mainly want to share with you how to look. And in order to learn how to look, you don't need the philosophy. Because what we are exploring here is very obvious. As soon as you know how to look, it's super obvious. That will not answer all the questions, all the other questions you might have about complete awakening, and and it will also not remove all difficult feelings. So just to say, that's that would be childish to believe that there is this insight into no self, and suddenly I'm only happy and free and full of love. It's not like that. It's just but it's just such a relieving shift. It's such a relief when the word mine relaxes, when it loses its power. And the word mine relaxes when you start to see directly and you experience that there is no I. So, of course, we are not talking at all about something that you don't exist. Yeah, so that would be the most stupid thing to say, because it's so obvious that you exist. That's not the direction. So whenever you would understand what I'm saying, like, hey, he's saying that I don't exist, that's not what I'm saying. What is being said here is you don't exist in the way it appears to you. So that's the first thing. Good to study. Yes. But trying not to get lost in that. And maybe another point, what I want to say with this, an encouragement, a confirmation that the direct experience of no self is in reach for all of us. In the Tibetan tradition, you might even sometimes get the sense that it is not for us, or that we first, so that we don't bring the right stuff to the table. Yeah, but there's so many people who experiences relief of what is called stream entry. But you need to focus on it. It's not going to happen by itself. Therefore, my invitation this year to make it a bit part of your exploration, of your contemplation, of your reading. So the second point is, I make these points up, It's like, I don't know yet how many points there are. You will see. Maybe one thing, those who don't know me, I never prepare. Yeah, so I don't have anything to cover for today. If the time is up, we have 3 points. Yeah, so it's not like an official list here, something like that. So the second point is some sense of devotion. Bhakti. You know, because you're leaning into an unknown territory. What we are going to explore here is scary. It's scary for the eye. And to lean into an unknown territory, to go into an unknown territory, it's so helpful to have someone on your side which you trust and says, yeah, go. Just go. I'm here. I got you. I got you. So the devotional part in your practice, whatever however that can look like. So if you have a connection to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, of course, then that would make sense, you know, to call upon him, to ask for support, to ask for blessing, to ask for. It could be Tara, it could be Jesus. It's like, and to do that, maybe as part of one's daily practice, some kind of guru yoga. Some kind of going down onto your knees, surrendering. Some kind of faith. Not a blind faith, but you know what we are exploring here has been confirmed again and again and again in every generations by thousands and thousands of people, not only in the Buddhist tradition, in all mystic traditions. So it's not like kind of a nice philosophical idea we can think about and what we need to believe or something like that. So that trust in this case here, into the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. So that when we will maybe work with some of the quotes of His Holiness the Dalai Lama from the book, that you let it in. Yeah, so you let it into your heart. There is a way sometimes to listen to teachings like this, and you are constantly like, yeah, but it could be said like that, and he said it like that, and this, and I think this, and probably this is not true, this is, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So you don't let it in. But if you have some trust and some faith, for example, in His Holiness the Dalai Lama, then just a paragraph, the right paragraph in this book, being really received in your heart can make a change. So if that devotional aspect of Tibetan Buddhism is somehow suspect for you, like, I mean, some people run away even if they only hear the word guru. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah. So that's that can maybe then start to grow once you appreciate the instructions and the teachings a little more. Then maybe at one point there will be a bit of openness. You need to leave the territory on which you stand right now. You need to leave that territory. It doesn't work. And the narrative self, this process of selfing, will resist to move on, to move deeper, because it feels its end. So then the third and in the book from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, there's a whole chapter on that. And I don't think we will go there in depth, but I just want to mention that is to nurture your capacity to stay engaged with what is important to you. And in this case here, what I would like you to feel is important is the insight into no self, to stay engaged with that, like to become passionate about it. What is important in your life? Or with what is the narrative self, with what it is occupied all the time? What is that? Yeah? Is that really that which is important to you? What is really deep in your heart? So this capacity to become really curious about what your mind is occupied with, and maybe changing the priorities, bringing the mind, bringing your focus back. And one of the biggest allies we have in that movement is that we know that we are going to die soon. That is really an ally. Knowing that I'm going to die, do I really want to do this? What I'm doing, what I'm doing with my mind, what I'm doing with my time. Yeah. Or is my heart more important? Do I really take my heart serious? Making time for that. Maybe having a daily practice. Maybe contemplating some aspects of the teachings every day. Attending teachings like you are doing now. And prioritizing that a little. So that doesn't mean at all that this means we have to give up what we're doing and leave family and home or something like that. But maybe less Netflix or something like that. Doing a week of retreat a year or things like that. Prioritize that. In the meditations or the glimpse practices I'm going to share with you, that's something you can do in daily life. It's not that you need to have a half an hour meditation practice every day. So there's always like little breathers during the daily life where you could connect with some of the reflections, some of the self-inquiry practices. That's possible. And becoming more familiar with how your attention works and becoming more aware of where your attention goes. So that is a capacity we also can cultivate with breathing meditation or with yoga or with listening to music or going for walks or going to the fitness studio, cooking. So that would be like kind of the Thich Nhat Hanh style mindfulness practice in daily life. Because at one point, to kind of have a bit of a breakthrough into no self, you need to have a bit of a capacity to actually having your mind cultivated enough so that you can stay there a bit. Otherwise, you have like a bit of a taste, a bit of an opening, and then the next thought is what it's for dinner. So, yeah. Some people think this is hard work, like, shamatha, 9 stages and stuff like that. But it isn't, It's just, being curious, having a passion for what you do and what you like, and bringing your mind back to what is important to you. When you play music, you play music. When you paint, you paint. When you have a client and you talk with a client, that's your meditation object. You bring your mind back into presence. And if you work with people, then you're already doing that, obviously, but you can kind of put it into, this is my shamatha practice, this is my focus practice. I don't need to sit still and watch my breath for that. So that was the third. The fourth is bodhicitta. To nurture your longing, wake up. Here, as I said, right now we are not talking about enlightenment. but here to wake up from the illusion of a separate self for the benefit of all. It's fine in the beginning, of course, when we start to meditate or we start to practice yoga, to do it, to feel a little better, find a way to handle your anxiety or something like that. That's appropriate and fine. But it is very modest. And it's not very powerful. Imagine a mother, the power of a mother who has a sick child. This mother would do anything for that child. It becomes very powerful. So in the same way, we can start where we are, but more and more a deeper vision of really opening your heart for the benefit of all, more powerful, more passionate you will become about recognizing, seeing the non-existence of a unified, separate I. So then the fifth, I think, is what in the traditional teachings is called accumulation of merit and purification. So purification, another word for purification could be healing. So whatever healing practices you do, psychotherapy, body work, purification, traditionally healing practice like Vajrasattva or prostrations or making offerings. Yeah, so that's more, that falls more into the accumulating merit basket. But so all the practices, and some of you do these practices already. Yeah. But you can emphasize a little bit that idea. Actually, all of this helps me to make this next step. And so more you clear up your inner tension, more you heal your wounded parts, better it is. It's not necessary. So I'm not saying that someone who is someone who still has a lot of time, needs a lot of time still to do this healing process, can't see that there's no self, but it really helps. Because any inner conflict in you, every feeling inside of you try to suppress takes energy. And an energy which then is bound in that and which is not available for connecting with the light. So accumulating of merit is to lift up your spirit, to increase your vitality through joyful things. Doing joyful things. One of the, and this could be part of this, is you need to sleep more. You need to sleep more. I'm saying this like a bit dogmatic noise. Dogmatic is just an invitation, yeah? To sleep, to rest, to eat well, and to do enough exercise. And of course, this kind of advice is given in other contexts as well. So we can all agree it would be good to do that. But it takes another flavor if you start to appreciate that these practices I just mentioned, sleeping, eating well, and so on, that they are part of creating a foundation where awakening can happen. So you sleep well for the benefit of all. You eat well for the benefit of all. You have fun for the benefit of all. You do the things you like to do for the benefit of all. Maybe the most important of this is sleep. I would put that on as first priority. So yeah, I think that's about it. So I see if there's any questions. Yeah. My challenge is that my ego tells me that if the I ceases to exist, then I die. Very powerful fear. Yeah, that's something we have to look at again and again, because I hope that this fear will be experienced by most of us. That would be a real success of my teachings. Yeah. It's good to mention that right from the beginning, and it will come up again. Yeah. So it's unavoidable. So the experience of no self is a bit like dying. And any kind of fear, it can be actually a strong fear, but not necessarily. So, but every sense of shrinking, or like, oh, this is too much. I don't want to look there. It's like, Pema Chodron calls this groundlessness. Yeah? So groundlessness. It's like the experience of groundlessness. So every experience like that is to be welcomed, is to be recognized as a sign, hey, I'm looking into the right direction. I'm moving towards the right direction. it's not only fear. So for most people, it's like a mixture. So there's sometimes relief and this joy coming up, this relief. Oh, there's nothing to defend here. All the worries I have, they are about me, and there's no me. So there can be relief, there can be joy, there can be laughter. But I have not met anyone so far for whom this was just joy. No? So it's part of the, and here, and that's probably something we need to talk about at one point, is this could be number 6 in my little made-up list. And this is acquiring skills to feel all your feelings, including fear. To feel all your feelings without being overwhelmed by them. That's a basic meditative skill. I mean, that's one of the main things we cultivate in meditation, which we learn. If that is not a skill you learn in your meditation, then something is going wrong in your meditation. Then it's probably some kind of spiritual bypass in your meditation. So I think that's number 6. Yeah, feeling your feelings, because it's not part of the intellectual understanding of emptiness. You can think and debate forever, but of the experiential side is for the experience of no self, your willingness and having the capacity to feel all your feelings is absolutely necessary. So never think that like emptiness or the experience of no self gives you any out to not feel your feelings. You can drop that thought, that idea. There is no out. There's only a through. Meaning feeling your feelings. Maybe a little warning, the exploration of no self can actually bring up more difficult feelings. Because with the experience of no self, you put up off the lid of suppressing, of putting things down, of not feeling your feelings. So if you lift that lid, then unfelt feelings, they come up. I think there was one hand. Did I see right? Emma, did you raise your hand?
Jonathan asked the same question as me, so okay. I'm all set.
Okay, good. Yeah, this is, we will talk about that more. It's probably one of the most, is one really important question and topic, this question. Yeah, perhaps gratitude for the ego trying to keep us safe, but asking it to sit beside us as we explore it. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. the thing is, there is no ego. Yeah. So, but what there is patterns or protective patterns. For example, resistance. So resistance. And that I found very important and necessary, is to recognize that these patterns, and you might call these patterns like ego. Yeah. So if you're aware that it is just a name to a bunch of different defense mechanism and habits, and so if you are aware there is this complex patterning going on, the conditioned mind, and I call this ego, just as like, that's fine. What doesn't exist is like a unified, solid ego we need to get rid of or destroy or something. Yeah, so that doesn't exist. But what is really awesome and really helpful is to thank these patterns and to have a kind relationship to them, to honor them. Because they came into the system at one point for protection. And yet there is a possibility of having a bit of communication with them. I don't know if maybe we are going to look into some methods like that. To have kind dialogues with one's addictive patterns, one's aggressive patterns, one's I'm not good enough patterns. The mention of bodhicitta made the exploration of no self less scary and more alive for me. Is this hiding? How could that be hiding? I would say no. It's not hiding. I don't know. Do you want to say something about this?
I just
Amy. Hi, Amy. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
The initial meditation was dry for me, and not, and partially I think because it confronts something that I don't want to look at. But when you mentioned bodhicitta, I was able to feel the expanse of self. And so that's why I'm asking, is it hiding by not directly looking at no self, but going to bodhicitta to feel the no self.
In the Tibetan tradition, you have like 2 different ways to approach this. So the one way is to confront, and that's what we're going to do, like looking at looking at this. Yeah. The other way is to look at what you really are. That's like Mahamudra. So you don't confront the. But you start with what you really are. You don't start with what you are not. So it's not hiding. You end up in the same place. It's the same experience. One way is, in the Christian mystic, it's called the via negativa. It's like the negation of what you are not. And that's what we will do here. The other way is the via positiva. That's pointing you directly in the Mahamudra tradition to what you are. But both ways lead into the same experience. And for some people, it makes more sense to start with pointing to what you are not, because that's something you can point to, something you can explain, something you can do in a way. Yeah? So you learn to look and you learn how not to find. Whereas pointing to the mystery of the nature of your mind, that's more intuitive. It can't be really explained. There's no steps to it. It's like, yeah. Does that make sense, Amy? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised because my background has been with logic and the Galupa tradition. So although I've had some exposure to the Kakyu and Nyingma traditions as well, and Sakya as well. So yeah, I'm surprised by that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I imagine that I will do both a little, yeah, but the emphasis will be on the negation. Neti, you're not this, you're not that. So that you end up there, you end up in the same place which you just, I now mentioned, yeah? The ultimate bodhicitta.
Because you exist? Is it you end up in the same place because you know that you're not non-existent? Is that why?
Yeah, I could say yeah, but there is no you which can be non-existent or existent.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I'll take that in.
Yeah. Take this in. This is it. If you get what I just said, that's it.
Right.
Yeah, it's it. That's it.
Yeah.
There is no you which can be existent or non-existent.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it takes the fear away. If you can't be non-existent either, it's the fear gone.
Yeah. And then you rest there. Yeah. Neither existent nor not existent. And then you rest there. And there is not nothing there. But it's ungraspable, undescribable.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good, Amy. So that was, I'm happy about this, because this is experiential. Yes. So in the first meditation, I mentioned this sense that the goodness of our meeting is already being shared. Yeah. So let's emphasize that just for just a moment, not a meditation, but just like having a sense that the goodness of this meeting is like lightening up the sacred space you are in your flat, and then beyond. So then we know that our meeting here is not only beneficial for ourselves, but for all, for everything. And thank you very much. And maybe see you tomorrow, same time. Bye.
Thank you, Stephan. Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank
Merci.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Stephan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.